Hello, everybody. Welcome to our one-on-one YouTube series, joined by former Packers fullback John Kuhn. John, the Packers playing their best football of the year at not the best time yet, but at a pretty good time to be playing pretty well.
Wow, it's December. It's Matt LaFleur's best time yet. He's 16-0 in the month of December, looking to continue that streak, keep this team hot, keep this team dangerous, and if you could do just that, they'll find themselves in the playoffs.
Why are they playing better right now?
Well, it's simple. It's the little details of the game. It's the penalties, they're limiting those. It's the turnovers, they're limiting those. They're creating a couple turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. And each guy is just doing his job just a little bit better than what they were just a few weeks ago. And collectively, this is what you got as a team.
It sounds like cliche, do your job one game at a time, but it seems like it really does matter.
Yeah, if you listen to Matt LaFleur talk after the football game here Sunday night, he mentioned just that. Toughest part is when you start coming into the building during a losing streak. You got to trust the process. Your coach is telling you, trust what I'm telling you. It's going to pay out. It's going to pay dividends. And you lose and you lose and you lose, but you got to keep chopping that wood. The Packers did that during the downtime. Now they're reaping the rewards.
You see from the sidelines, Jordan Love. What has he done better in this win streak?
He sped everything up, and not to a frantic pace, to a controlled pace. He's watching his wide receivers. He's watching the play develop. He's got command of the play clock and the line of scrimmage. He knows where he wants to go. He has a plan, and if that plan does not come to fruition in the first few seconds of the play, he checks the ball down or he gets out of the pocket, finds something with his legs. It's brilliant to watch.
The Packers went 5 straight games without scoring a first half touchdown. Now they've scored touchdowns on their first drive of the last 2 games. Is that, again, just doing your job?
Well, I think the Packers realized during that losing streak that, hey, we can't come out here and play in the second half. So they started really making an emphasis on their first 15, the scripted plays, really attacking those, diving in into the details, the nuances of each and every position and what's going to make a play work. And because of that, they're able to string some drives together. I mentioned penalties. They had a stretch of penalties there during that losing streak that really thwarted some drives early on in football games. They've eliminated those, and it's really helped them out.
The defense sometimes catches some flack, but holding the Chiefs to 19 points is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and this defense has steadily gotten better throughout the course of the season. And a lot of people look at the run game numbers, and we saw it in Detroit. It was there on Thanksgiving. You saw it here with Pacheco eclipsing 100 yards. But that's playing within the game plan. It's limiting the big plays. It's keeping teams on the field, and then it's getting into the red zone and tightening up. The Chiefs having to kick 2 field goals on their first 2 drives, that's the difference in this football game as much as anything else.
What do you make of the refereeing at the end of the game?
It's laughable. It's sad because really that was a poetic football game for the first half. It was beautiful to watch. Both the offenses were efficient. As a fan, you couldn't ask for anything more. The refs took a step back, let the players play, and the players played very well. And then you get to about 58 minutes into a ball game, and you have about 4 or 5 calls on that last drive. I mean, on one drive, 4 or 5 calls that were highly questionable on that one. Nobody's going to make excuses for an outcome because of the referees. It's just sad to see in such a game that was beautifully played.
Is there anything, though, to the fact that they were consistently inconsistent, that both teams are like, well, at least they made bad calls for us and for the other team, or is it just like, no, you made bad calls?
The thing that's most surprising to me is normally that's the end of the game. That's when refs choose to take a step back and let the physicality play itself out, especially in a close football game with 2 really good football teams. This was quite the opposite. They stayed out and then decided to insert themselves and make themselves a player there at the end.
Why does this Packers team, who now sits 7th in the playoff picture, the final wild card spot, why can they make noise if they make the playoffs?
Well, because they've done it the right way all season long, and you can't come back from a losing streak and just all of a sudden be great. You got to put in the work during the week, and you got to work on the details that's going to make you great. They didn't become great overnight either. It's been a progression. It started with the Rams, and then a really good game and a loss in Pittsburgh, followed by another good game against the Chargers, and then these 2 really big matchups on Thanksgiving against the Lions, and this one being the biggest one of all against the defending champ Kansas City Chiefs. They not only now have created confidence, they've created real confidence, and that'll carry them a lot further.
Chiefs knock them out. Now you have the Giants, a team you can't overlook, but obviously they're struggling this season. How do you make sure you don't overlook them?
Well, I think when it comes to the Giants, you got to look at Saquon Barkley and you got to say, we got to limit this guy. If he's going to get 100 yards, he's got to get it the hard way. We got to make it happen slowly and churn this thing out and then make them kick field goals when they get down to the red zone. They're going to want to lean on that run game. Joe Barry and that defense will play a big part. And I think offensively, it's just letting Jordan Love cook. He's been fantastic the last month of the season. Aaron Jones has been out. What was that going to do to the Packers offense? Matt LaFleur has really opened things up. He's taken the handcuffs off of Jordan Love, and he's really starting to experiment and get creative. This offense is fun to watch.
Yeah, and they're playing really well despite their youth. All right, you can subscribe to our YouTube page, WLUK Fox 11, for all our one-on-one episodes.